Hey, what's up? It's Baz the Magician, and the magic lesson in this video is you can't steal a trick. This video is probably going to be relevant for another 10 years. So before going into anything in this video, I'm going to lay out some ground rules here. Number one, I'm not leaving comments underneath this video open for people to reply to me, because I'm not having a bunch of people who don't know what they're talking about, who have been copying people who don't know what they're talking about, trying to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Second, I'm not naming names in this, and I'm not out to change anything. I've been asked in tons of places, through email, Instagram, under some of the YouTube comments I've had to delete. I've actually had to shut down some of the comments in other YouTube videos because I'm getting a bunch of people asking me my input on this. I don't care about the situation and who's involved. Stop asking me my opinion about what I think about this person or that person. I'm simply clearing up something that you guys keep spreading around that is not true, and it really should stop, because you're all acting like a bunch of third graders at recess. Half of you don't even know what you're talking about, because you're taking a moral and ethical issue and trying to turn it into a legal issue, and that's not how this works. So I'm going to educate everybody here because you need an education. All right. The final thing here is there's going to be some uncomfortable truths in this, and there's no real way to bring this up politely, so you're just going to have to accept the fact that this is how it is. After this, don't bother me about this. I don't care. So, first things first, you can't steal a trick. So people that are going around stating, this person stole my trick, or this person stole that, or how would you feel if somebody accused you of stealing a trick? You can't steal a trick. There are things in magic that do not belong to anybody. This includes concepts. Okay? So let me just give you an example of how stupid everybody sounds when they're arguing these points. If anybody is being accused of stealing something, or somebody is accusing somebody of stealing something, then the same concept goes for every single person in magic. Case in point, nobody owns the Akan effect. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's like trying to state you own the Elmsley count. You don't. You don't own the concept, and if you change the way it's done, is anybody going to complain that you stole that from Alex Elmsley? No, that's not how this fucking works. You sound dumb. Secondly, if you don't need anybody's permission to use a concept, and you do not need to give anybody credit for that concept either. That is an ethical and a moral issue. There are people in magic who are jerks, period. Deal with it. But to go around saying somebody stole that, or I had permission, or they gave me permission, it isn't their permission to give, even if they came up with something. You cannot steal a trick because you don't own the trick and you don't own the concept. These are the only things you can copyright in a trick. The pattern, the design, and the font, and the procedure being done. Meaning, if you have a sword trick and you pull sword 1 from the right side, you pull sword 2 from the left side, sword 3 comes down from the middle. If you're copying that exact procedure, then that's copyright. Other than that, if you go and watch a trick and figure it out, guess what? You didn't steal the concept. You didn't steal the idea. You didn't. It doesn't belong to you because you're dealing with an effect that applies universally across all magic. Once again, you don't need Alex Elmsley's permission to do an Elmsley count. You don't need to give him credit for it. And to try to say, well, that's an underlying rule, everybody knows it, isn't a valid counter argument. The same thing applies here as like, you stole the Akan effect method, but everybody is using everybody else's method. So in that regard, everybody is stealing everybody else's stuff. And if somebody actually did steal stuff, nobody else would be able to do it, which means there would only be one Akan effect. There would only be one use for a double-sided card. There would only be one person who could do a double lift. You're starting to see how stupid this shit sounds. Now, I do want to be clear that there can be a trick where somebody gets so synonymous with it that it belongs to them. Their name gets completely and utterly attached to it, such as making the Statue of Liberty disappear. First of all, nobody's going to be able to pull that off again because you need permission to do that. But you're dealing with such things as, those specifics, going over Niagara Falls, okay? But to state flying across the Grand Canyon is your trick? No, it's not, because that would be claiming ownership to levitation. Okay? Everybody's doing everything. Torn and restored cards do not belong to anybody. And once again, nobody needs your freaking permission to use something, and they sure as hell don't need to give you credit, because if you're going to complain about that, then you should also be applying that to yourself. It's a moral and ethical issue. So, stop asking me how I feel if somebody accused me of stealing a trick, because I don't care. I have enough common sense to know you can't steal a trick. It doesn't belong to anybody. So this bickering back and forth, you're all acting like a bunch of idiots and you need to grow up. You're all acting like third graders at recess. Knock it off, get over yourselves, and stop spreading around false information to everybody, because all you're doing is you're creating a hostile environment between everybody, and it's not going anywhere. It's that simple. You can't steal a trick. Spaz Magician signing out. Have a good one.